In Japanese, it's pretty simple to say what something is. But what about when you don't know for sure? How do you talk about how something seems to be, just based on how it looks? Well, let's unlock a really simple but powerful tool that does exactly that.
Okay, let's paint a picture. Imagine you're walking past a bakery, and right there in the window, you see this absolutely perfect cake. I mean, your eyes are telling you it has to be amazing, but you haven't actually taken a bite, so you can't say it is delicious, right? That's a fact, you just can't confirm yet. So, what do you say? How do you express that it looks delicious?
Well, this is exactly where a neat little grammar pattern comes into play. Sona, which we say as sona. Just think of this as your go-to looks like or seems like tool. It's designed for this exact situation, for when you're describing a noun based on a first impression.
So how does it work? The basic structure is super simple. You take an adjective, you tack on so na, and you put that right before the noun you're describing. Now, the really important thing here is that you're communicating an impression. It's a visual guess, not a hard fact. And that's the whole point. It's the difference between a delicious cake and a delicious-looking cake.
Now, to use this tool right, you just got to know that Japanese has two main types of adjectives. We're going to start with the first kind, which we call I-adjectives. They're called that for a pretty simple reason. They all end with the character I, which sounds like I. And the rule for these is just wonderfully straightforward. You take your adjective, you find that final I sound right at the end, and you just chop it off. Then, right in its place, you attach so na. And that's literally it.
Let's walk through this with our cake example. We start with the adjective for delicious, which is oishi. Step 1, we take off that final I, which leaves us with oishi. Then, we add our magic phrase, sona, and follow it with our noun for cake, keiki. And what do we get? Oishi sona keiki, a delicious-looking cake. Perfect.
Okay, so what about that second type of adjective? These are called na-adjectives. And believe it or not, the rule for these is even easier.
Yeah, really. With na-adjectives, you don't have to chop anything off or change a thing. You just take the adjective as it is, what we call the stem, and you stick so na right onto the end. It's a super clean and simple addition.
Let's try it with the word for convenient, which is benli. Step 1 is just the word itself. For step 2, we just add sona and our noun, apuri, which means app. So you get benli sona apuri, a convenient-looking app. You've just described an app that at a glance seems really useful.
When you see them side by side like this, it just kind of clicks, doesn't it? For the adjective atatakai, meaning warm, you can see that I totally disappears. But for the na adjective, benli, nothing gets removed at all. It's just a direct connection. And that simple little difference is really the only thing you need to remember to get both of them right.
All right, so we've got the building blocks down. Now let's see how they actually fit into natural, complete sentences. This is where the grammar really starts to come alive.
Here's our first full example. Imagine you see someone and they're wearing this really thick, cozy woolen sweater. Now you don't know for a fact that it's warm, but it sure looks like it, right? This is the perfect time to say,
彼女は暖かそうなセーターを着ています。
So let's just break that down real quick. The original word was atatakai, an I adjective. We just followed our rule, we dropped that final I, and we added sona to perfectly describe the sweater. It's simple, it's effective, and it's so descriptive.
And hey, we're back at the cake shop. Now you have the full sentence you need to say what you see. この店は美味しそうなケーキがあります. You're not making a promise about the flavor. You're just commenting on that absolutely mouth-watering appearance.
All right, how about our noun adjective? Let's say you look over and see your mom using an app. The layout looks clean, there are all these helpful-looking buttons. It just gives you the impression of being really convenient. So you'd say, Haha wa binli sona aptiri o tsukatte imasu. See? You've just perfectly described the app's appearance and your impression of it.
So what does this all mean?
Well, it means you now have this amazing tool to add nuance, to add your own personal perspective into your Japanese. You've officially moved beyond just stating boring facts. Now you can share your impressions of the world all around you.
So the key takeaways, the rules to lock in, are really these three things. Use sona plus a noun to describe how something looks. For those I adjectives, just drop the final I. And for the na adjectives, you just use the word itself. It's really that simple.
And here's a final thought for you. This isn't just some grammar rule in a textbook. It's a whole new way of seeing and describing your world. So do me a favor.
Take a second and just look around the room you're in right now. What's the first thing you see? A comfortable-looking chair? An interesting-looking book? Well, guess what? You now have the exact tool you need to describe them.